The new colonial prince, Trump, and the restoration of imperial power. In every age, a man arises who understands that fear governs more effectively than love, and that nations, like individuals, are ruled not by virtue but by perception. Donald Trump's renewed ascent to the American throne demonstrates that the republic, long weakened by factionalism and internal decay, is ripe for a prince who governs with the instincts of an imperial conqueror rather than those of a cautious administrator. For a prince concerned with the acquisition and maintenance of power, secrecy is his shield. Thus, it is no surprise that the true list of magnates implicated in the Epstein affair will never be revealed. Power protects power, and great crimes shared by the elite are never punished. They are buried. This cover-up, greater than that which concealed the assassins of John F. Kennedy, reveals a fundamental Machiavellian truth. Crimes committed collectively ensure loyalty more strongly than honors bestowed. Trump understands this principle instinctively. The prince who envies absolute monarchs. A ruler's ambition is measured not by what he possesses, but by what he desires. Trump admires Mohammed bin Salman and Recep Tayyip Erdoğan because they embody the freedom he covets, the ability to punish without law, to reward without oversight, and to rule without interruption. They do not govern by persuasion. They govern by necessity, the ruthless necessity that defines all true rulers. Trump's yearning for such authority reveals a deeper instinct. He does not wish to preside over a republic. He wishes to command an empire. And in a nation born in rebellion against kings, this irony serves him well, for nothing blinds a people more than the myth of their own freedom. 2. How colonial power is acquired in the modern age. In Machiavelli's time, principalities were taken with soldiers. In Trump's age, they are taken with markets, sanctions, and calibrated violence. The methods have changed, the logic has not. A wise prince understands that. Poor nations are easier to dominate than rich ones. Chaos weakens resistance. Economic hardship prepares the ground for foreign control. Trump's foreign policy is not chaotic. It is a deliberate application of these principles. His vision mirrors the colonial masters of old: extract from the weak, enrich the strong, and ensure loyalty through dependence. Where Britain used gunboats, Trump uses the dollar. Where Belgium used terror, Trump uses sanctions. Where Rome used legions, Trump uses private contractors and drones. Each tool serves the same purpose: to compel obedience without the costly burden of occupation. 3. Violence, the most effective persuader. Machiavelli taught that violence, when used decisively and with purpose, creates order. Trump applies this rule with the bluntness of a man who revels in domination. His threats to bomb nations that refuse payment, his willingness to destabilize governments that resist American extraction, and his public fantasies of executing opponents. All these acts serve a single goal: imprinting fear upon the minds of both foreign rulers and domestic enemies. A prince must be feared, provided he avoids being hated. Trump, however, has resolved this dilemma through another Machiavellian technique. He shifts hatred away from himself by offering the people enemies to despise more: immigrants, elites, foreign governments, disloyal officials. By directing public rage outward, he secures his throne inward. 4. The personalization of empire. A republic collapses when its institutions become weaker than the ambitions of its leaders. Trump's transformation of state power into personal power is a classical maneuver of princes who inherit decaying systems. He fuses national interest with personal interests so thoroughly that resisting him appears equivalent to resisting the nation itself. This is how colonial governors operated when ruling distant lands on behalf of crowns they secretly intended to replace. A prince must always act as if the state and the self are indistinguishable. Trump does this flawlessly. The great irony. A colonial emperor in a post-colonial republic. The United States prides itself on resisting the tyranny of kings, yet it now accepts a ruler who behaves as if crowned by divine right. This is the ultimate Machiavellian victory, when the people willingly offer themselves to a prince who mirrors the very tyranny they once rejected. Trump is no anomaly. He is the natural product of a nation in decline. As Machiavelli wrote, corrupt people require harsh rulers, for they no longer have the virtue to sustain liberty. In this sense, Trump is not merely a president. He is the new colonial prince, the inheritor of methods perfected by empires long dead yet never buried. He extracts from weak nations because power demands expansion. He silences dissent because instability threatens his control. He admires autocrats because they embody the freedom he seeks, the freedom to rule without restraint. Conclusion: the prince the age deserves. In Trump, America has created a ruler who embodies the oldest and most enduring truths of political power. Fear is more reliable than affection. Wealth is extracted from the weak, never the strong. Secrecy binds elites better than loyalty. And when republics decay, they inevitably return to monarchy in another form. Trump calls this leadership. His enemies call it tyranny. Machiavelli would call it the return of a natural order, in which the prince, standing above the law, reclaims the world not through ideals, but through the eternal instruments of conquest: fear, violence, and the exploitation of the powerless.